The U.S. Navy says 10 sailors are missing and 5 are injured after a Navy destroyer was involved in a collision. This is file video of the USS John McCain. The Navy says the guided missile destroyer collided with a merchant ship near Singapore. The Navy says helicopters from the USS America were assisting, along with tugboats and Naval and Coast Guard vessels from Singapore. And in Barcelona, Spain's king and queen attended a mass held in honor of the victims of attacks there last week. 14 people were killed and 100 more were injured when a van ran into a crowd at a tourist location in Barcelona on Thursday and a nearby resort of Cambrils on Friday. Barcelona's Archbishop shared a message of solidarity from Pope Francis during the service. Well, comedian and civil rights activist Dick Gregory has died. The family says he passed away in Washington, D.C. last night. Gregory gained notoriety in the early 1960s as one of the first African-American comics to perform for white audiences. He also used his fame to advocate for civil rights in an era of strict segregation. His experiences with discrimination and injustice became the backbone of his comedy act. Dick Gregory was 84 years old. And legendary comedian and humanitarian Jerry Lewis has also died. His publicist says he died today of natural causes with his family by his side in Las Vegas. Lewis first became a star in a duo with Dean Martin, entertaining audiences in nightclubs, on television, and in the movies. After their split in 1956, he starred and directed many films like The Nutty Professor and later was the host of the annual telethon for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and that was a Labor Day weekend tradition. Jerry Lewis was 91 years old. President Trump finished working vacation today, returning to Washington after an eventful 2.5 weeks. Seth Lemon has a look at how the president is trying to turn the page and move forward.
President Trump touched down in Washington Sunday night after a 17-day working vacation at his golf club in New Jersey. The president is still facing bipartisan criticism for saying both sides shared blame for the violence in Charlottesville.
What he said on Tuesday was just really challenging. What the president should do before he says something is to sit down and become better acquainted, have a personal connection to the painful history of racism and bigotry of this country.
This will be the first week without recently fired Chief Strategist Steve Bannon in the West Wing. The White House is attempting to shift the focus, announcing this week as Employer Support for the National Guard and Reserve Week. It comes as President Trump says he's met with military leaders and made decisions, including on Afghanistan. The White House says Monday night the president will address the nation on his strategy for Afghanistan and South Asia. Officials familiar with the plan expect 4,000 more troops to be deployed, but caution that could change. Defense Secretary Mattis says after meeting with the president, he's confident with the strategy.
The process was rigorous and it involved all members of the cabinet, of the national security staff.
Mattis told reporters the president wants to talk to the American people himself. Seth Lemon for CBS News, Washington.
You can see President Trump's address to the nation tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on 7 News and CBS.
Well, after a bit of a break for part of the weekend, humidity increasing. We're getting that first feel of that this evening, and that's touched off some isolated showers. Those will gradually dissipate as we go deeper into the night, but it's going to set us up for the potential for a few more clouds around tomorrow because of the extra moisture in the atmosphere. So we'll have to watch that for eclipse time. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Our best chance of rain overall, though, is going to arrive midweek. A lot of moisture in place as a cold front arrives, so we'll have a better chance area-wide of some showers and storms behind that front. We've got some changes coming in for the end of the week with a little bit of a cool down. Live Doppler quiet for the vast majority of us. Some showers to the east of Charlotte and some showers in the southern upstate, especially north side of Greenwood up to around Cokesbury, then back into far southwestern Lawrence County. This is actually lifting to the northwest, but slowly at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, which means some brief heavy rainfall may stick around for a little bit. These are areas that certainly do need the rain. This will probably continue for a little while longer as we continue to see temperatures go down as we go deeper into the evening. We'll start to lose some of that fuel, and that activity should wither out. But that's kind of on the leading edge of a surge of moisture that's beginning to move into the area. But you see, there's really not much else going on across the southeast weather-wise. No big system to keep those going, so they'll probably linger a little longer and then fizzle out. Virtual skycast for Spartanburg, 82 degrees right now with some dry weather in place. Lower 70s first thing in the morning. We should end up with partly sunny overall conditions for tomorrow. Probably mostly sunny to start, and then we'll have a few clouds build as the day wears on, mainly on the dry side. Highs are going to approach 90. Right now it's 72 in Asheville. We'll drop to the mid-60s first thing tomorrow morning. Partly sunny for you. A little bit better chance for some clouds, however, in the mountains of western North Carolina, and a little bit better chance of some of those afternoon showers, if not a thunderstorm. Look for highs to top out in the mid-80s. We're 74 right now in Gaffney, a rain-cooled 75 in Greenwood, but mainly 80s still across the rest of the upstate and northeastern Georgia. And the fact that we're in the 80s, that's keeping some of those storms and some of those showers going. Upper 60s and lower 70s right now in the mountains. We start off tomorrow morning mild and humid, partly to mostly clear. Add some daytime heating onto that moist air mass. We'll get those puffy cumulus clouds to develop. Some of those are going to try to produce some showers, especially in the mountains during the afternoon and early evening. Before we lose daytime heating, that fizzles out. We're warm and muggy Tuesday morning and Tuesday afternoon. We kind of do it all over again. There's a front to our northwest. That picks up some of that moisture going into late Wednesday night. That'll be our best chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Take you hour by hour on the cloud forecast here. This is what the forecast models are mapping out in terms of clouds. And you can see it looks like there's a lot, but a lot of these are those puffy cumulus clouds. There's going to be gaps in between the clouds. The key is, especially as we get to about 2:30, are you going to be in the gap? Are we going to be stuck in a few spots where you're going to have a cloud overhead for the length of the eclipse, which would be about 2.5 minutes in totality? So it's going to be fair viewing conditions overall, but there are some spots that may be a little bit better than others as we go through the course of the afternoon. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s. We'll drop them into the mid-80s during the heart of the eclipse and then back up to 90 on the other side, probably starting with good visibility and then as clouds try to build fair visibility. One more thing we got to watch, the tropics. This was Tropical Storm Harvey yesterday. It got its tropical designation taken away. National Hurricane Center thinks this may redevelop as it heads to the west. That's going to stay well to our south. They're also monitoring this system that's going to head to the Bahamas and possibly Florida. We'll keep an eye out on that. A cold front coming through here midweek, though, may steer this away from us. One more system well out to the east, not expected to affect anybody. Next 72 hours, lower 90s for highs. Mostly dry tomorrow. Small chance of an isolated shower after eclipse time. Isolated afternoon storm possible Tuesday. Our better chance comes in Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night with that front, leaving behind an early shower Thursday and much more comfortable air by the end of the week. And in the mountains, we're looking at mid-80s next couple days with a few isolated storms. Best chance of rain Wednesday and then cooler and a bit drier toward the end of the week. So keeping our fingers crossed, the clouds stay gone where we are anyway, to see the total eclipse for tomorrow. But there are going to be some around, and hopefully we won't have them blocking out too much as we go through the afternoon.
I think a lot of people would be upset if a cloud just happened to hover over during
for
those
2.5 minutes, making it hard to see. Yeah.
That would be very unlucky, so we're going to hope that that does not happen for most of us out there. Well, thank you, Dan. And coming up in sports, Todd Summers will let us know